Hey everybody, GVB the Mind Warrior in the dojo today. I want to talk today about fitting in. Why would you want to fit in? I speak to so many people that just want to fit into this and want to be part of this, part of that, part of... Why don't you want to be an individual anymore? Who's scared of that? Why are you so scared to step up and become? Become someone who stands out from the crowd. Become someone who fights for something worthwhile. You know why people are scared of it? Because it comes at a price. It comes at a cost. People don't like you because you stand out from the crowd. People try and drag you down like crabs in a bucket. They'll try and fight you. They'll go against you. People you think are on your side are going to turn on you. But you know what? Who cares? This is your time. This is your life. This is your stuff. And if you want to stand out from the crowd, stand out from the crowd. There's nothing worse than being a sheep. There's nothing worse than what happens to sheep. They get slaughtered. Why do we want to be that? Why wouldn't you want to be the person that stands out, the person that becomes, the person that carves the pathway, to drive things into new areas, to new realms of the world, to make new discoveries? Be that person. We all want to be something in our lives, but we're too scared to have a shot at it. So you know what? We need to step up and take that shot. Have a go. Put your heart on your sleeve and be brave enough to stand up and to fight for your dream, to fight for what you want to become. If you're going through hard times, fight through it. If you're going through monetary troubles, fight through it. In the fight through, you'll find the result. You'll find the positive result to move forward. You'll find the positive result to get you closer to your successes. I want to stand out from the crowd. I don't want to be one of the sheep when I walk into a room, no one notices me. I want people to know who I am. I want people to know that I do something, that I stand for something, that I fight for something. So that when I get older, I look back at my life and it was worth it. It's worth the pain, it's worth the hardship, it's worth the falls. You know what, you reach high, you fall hard, but that's just what happens. And unfortunately, some people don't come back from the fall. They give up, they stop, they walk away. But you know what, you can dust yourself off, you can get up and you can go again. That's part of falling down. That's how we learn to walk, it's how we learn to do anything. It's how we learn to ride bikes. We fall down, we get up. That's a simple, simple rule. But too many people back away after a couple of falls. We need to understand that to make something out of our lives, to become something different, to fight for a goal, to achieve something worthwhile, is going to take a lot of effort, a lot of work. I remember as a kid when people were at parties or at discos and dances, I was running around the field. I was at the gym training. I was home rehearsing. I was home practicing. Because I knew that's what it took to get there. I knew it's what it was going to take me to get over the line. I knew when it came to pistol shooting, if I didn't do all the training that I had to do, that I was never going to make it. I knew in bodybuilding, the same thing, martial arts, the same thing in movies. I spent all my free time writing, making films, in amongst doing my other work that was paying me so I could survive. I would spend all my lunch breaks and my afternoons and my evenings when people went to bed, that I would sit up and I would work and I would write and I would put time towards stuff. Because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't make it. And I knew that I'd regret it later. It's incredibly worthwhile to do that stuff. Because you have a life that's rich and fulfilling. And you're going to have hardships, you're going to have tough times, but I'll tell you now that it's going to be worth the fight. So fight for your dream, fight for your ambition, fight for your goals, fight for your life. Because your life is worth it. Because if you don't fight for your life, you're not going to have much of a life. We don't know how much time we have. I was at a function yesterday with a friend of mine whose father's not young, and he's suddenly showing the early stages of dementia. Now his life is going to debilitate very fast. It's going to affect everyone around him as well. But I see this person who's been a wonderful man quickly descending into this abyss of darkness. You don't know how much time you have to make something worthwhile of your life. You want to give something to the world, you want to give something back to this planet, you want to make it better. So get out there. Don't worry about your fears. Fear and exhilaration is something interesting. 1921, in a field in Quilpie in the back of Queensland, there was a man with a biplane. They had to clear the sheep and the cattle out of the paddock. 250 plus people stood around this man's plane. He was trying to raise money for something. It was going to cost you 3 months' wages to have a flight with this man, to fly up in this little rickety biplane. All the men backed out. No one had the courage to step forward, but it just happened my grandmother was there. 1921. The war had just ended. They'd been through the depressions. And she was willing to put 3 months' wages down to go on a flight with this man to help him move forward with what he wanted. I remember saying to her as a kid, why did you do that? And she said, I just knew that it was a special moment in time. And if I didn't embrace it, I'd regret it. So I did. She said, next thing I knew, I was sitting in the back of this plane, leather helmet on, goggles, and off we went up into the heavens. She goes, every time we hit the air pockets, my heart would leap. She goes, this flight was the most exhilarating and frightening experience of my life. But she said, when we landed, I knew that from that point onwards in my life, I would spend the rest of my time traveling the world by air. And she did. And her money went towards that man for him to buy a second airplane and to start an airline. we all now call Qantas. And as I sit and talk to my grandmother about this stuff, and I said, you know, why? And she said, I knew it was a special time in life, and if I didn't embrace it, I'd regret it. She said, you have to go for these things. Too many people chicken out. Too many people back away. So I always remembered that. Even as a kid, I remembered these conversations with her. I was the youngest of 13 grandchildren, number 13, lucky 13. And it always sat with me because I didn't do well at school, but I knew there was something in me worthwhile. And it made me chase stuff. It made me go for things. It made me realize that time was precious and we needed to embrace that time and use it wisely. So when it came to school dances, I didn't go. I was out running around the park. I was training. I was in the gym training, or I was doing fight training, or when I was in movies, when I was building a daytime, I'd be sitting up all night writing films, making films, trying to work out how to edit films, teaching myself, using my time, not wasting my time. Too easy to waste that stuff. You don't get it back. So embrace your time, fight for what you want, all right? I want you guys to have a great week. Smash out some goals, go towards something, build something worthwhile, all right? I want to see results. I want to know you've been doing well. Keep going for it. It's out there. Embrace it, it's yours. Have a great week. GVB out.